So yesterday, Paleo Logos posted this on Twitter on my timeline at Genesis Week. Did you notice that your reconstruction of Lucy's pelvis has the os coxa? Now he did correct this. Os coxae. Your os coxae is upside down and backwards. Now he is correct, or she, or they, them. I don't know what their pronouns are, so I'll just go with it. They're correct, and it's very interesting. This show aired in April 15th of 2022, so 16 months ago. And Paleo Logos, you are the first to notice this. You're correct. I did not notice it, and I'm very grateful you pointed it out, because as we're about to see, this actually has a profound significance, because my boo-boo actually detracted from my argument. So for those who haven't seen it, the reference for that video is in the description. So it was Genesis Week, episode 36, the very last one of the 40-part series. And if you're wondering why it's episode 36, it's because we had the 4-part mini-series in the middle on UFOs, aliens, and Genesis, right? That was part of that series. So there's 40 parts. This was the very last part, and I was sharing what a gentleman I called Dr. Zed was pointing out about Lucy's pelvis. Now, Lucy is a very famous fossil. Have you guys both heard of Lucy?
Yes.
You have, Roland?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I see him nodding. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm shaking my head.
Yeah, okay.
I think if you're over 15, 16 years old,
Yes. So here's the Lucy skeleton, allegedly our ancient ancestor. Dr. Zed put together a powerful case, of which I only shared a very, very small part, because he has yet to publish on this. But basically, what this boils down to is Johansen and team took 8 fossils and human fossils, all found in the same area, put them all together into one skeleton, and called it our ancient ancestor. In particular, the pelvis is what, I've forgotten his Twitter handle already, Paleo something, Paleo Logos. So Paleo Logos was not talking about this part here. It's talking about right here. Now, I went and dug it out of storage, and it's a funny story about how that wound up upside down backwards, and he's correct. So basically, the fossil itself is very fragmented. For example, if you take a close look, that's a horrible picture, but you can see right here, this part broken off. And so what happened, as you can see, all they have is the left side, this broken fragment, the coccyx, the tailbone, and that is clearly a human coccyx. And what happened, I sculpted the different parts, 3D printed them basically. And so the parts here, because there was actually fragments missing from the joints here. So I had that filled in with plasticine, which is exactly what I've got here. Now, normally you try and use like a bright colored plasticine, so the fillings are obvious. Actually, I've got an example right here of there, right there. So this one, they've only actually got part of the fill-ins in. So you can see all the breaks and cracks. This hip was like fractured into a whole mess of pieces. And this, of course, many of the longtime viewers will be well familiar with this story, because Owen Lovejoy, the anatomist, he's got that infamous video of him taking a Dremel to casts of the different fragments, because it didn't look It was distorted. And I agree with him on that point. But what are you doing taking a Dremel to make it fit better? I mean, can you guys imagine the firestorm that would happen if a creationist took a fossil and said, "Oh, that looks too much like an ape human. Here, I'm going to adjust it and fix the distortion. Oh, I'm going to do it with a Dremel." You can imagine the firestorm that would happen, right? So I still hold Owen Lovejoy in contempt for that one, in contempt of court. Regardless, this is his reconstruction. What I also did was I then mirrored it so you could see had both sides. And so it was mirrored and you got a better look. I also had the pieces in here. Now, the day I went to film that episode, I was moving everything around and it was stinking hot in here, just like it is today. 27 degrees Celsius currently, and I've kept it cool all day. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, Roland. It's probably like 85, maybe 90.
Yeah, that's not right.
No, no, it's stinking hot. So I'm moving this around, and the plasticine, basically it melted in the heat. It got soft, and these bone fragments fell off. Now, these ones are easy to put back in place, but I was in a hurry because it was one of those, it was Tuesday, literally. I'm supposed to have the show edited, closed captioning done, everything delivered to the television station, preferably by Tuesday night. And Tuesday afternoon, I'm moving this over and everything falls apart. So I frantically put it all back together. Obviously, I wasn't paying attention because Paleo's Logos is absolutely correct. I put it on upside down and backwards. Now, why I think this is so entertaining is because, first of all, it's taken 16 months for someone to point this out. There are a lot of haters out on the internet who would just love to embarrass and shame me and my mistakes. Why has nobody pointed this out before? It's very interesting because if you correct my mistake, it actually dramatically strengthens the case I was making in that video. And I would encourage you all to go and check out that video. Dr. Z's point was that is not the hip of our ancient half-ape, half-human ancestor. That is the fossil hip bones of a pygmy human. Now, I have here again another replica, and this is to scale, of a pygmy human pelvis. And unfortunately, the reason the parts in question in Lucy's hip aren't here is because after I filmed that, I went on the road for a short tour out in Nova Scotia. I had this with me, and once again, the plasticine melted. These parts fell off and apparently fell under the table, and I didn't see it when I left Halifax. So I got a text from Pastor Rob like 2 days later with a photo of the fossil parts, right? He's like, "Is this yours?" Oh, yeah, that's mine. So I'm afraid I don't have it here to correct it, but I will simply show everybody these two and compare them. Yes, it's flared out slightly farther, but that's probably just distortion from the fossil, which everybody agrees was compressed. And so if you actually fix those bones, it dramatically matches the human pelvis and not, for example, ape pelvises such as the chimpanzee. Let me see if I can do this because it's still falling apart in the heat. I didn't make these for going on the road, can you tell? It was for one shoot and that was it. The difference between the two pelvises is dramatic. And so what Dr. Z is stating, and he has built a powerful case for this, this is a pygmy human pelvis fossil. And they have erroneously mixed it in with ape fossils. That fossil of Lucy is a genuine half ape, half human fossil. Right there, you're looking at it. But it's only because they mixed up human bones with ape bones. That's why. So this isn't our ancient ancestor. And thank you for Paleologos for pointing out that mistake. I actually do genuinely appreciate it, because this actually bolsters the case that I made and presented in that video, and profoundly so. So I would challenge everyone, go check the video, judge for yourself. And you can even see the error, because my error took away from this argument. Because you can compare, let me see if I can call this up. Fortunately, Paleologos provided a nice big screen capture. So you can compare the pygmy human pelvis with Lucy's pelvis, but down here it's all mixed up, because that's where I mixed it up. If you reverse it and fix it, suddenly it becomes dramatically like the human pygmy pelvis. And what were their names? John Sanford, I've got the book here somewhere. There it is, Contested Bones. Dr. John Sanford and Christopher Root put this book out a couple years ago. And over again in their book, they point out how common pygmy humans are. And I hadn't realized this till I read the book, but they're absolutely correct. You guys hear about the Hobbit fossil? The fossil they called Hobbit?
I don't know too much about it, but I did hear about it.
You heard about it. Okay. So again, it's another classic case. It's pygmy humans. In fact, on that island, there's a people group of pygmy humans. So why are they going into this cave and saying, oh, look at the fossils of our half ape, half human ancestors, which, wait a minute, how do we know these aren't the people that are still alive today? Did nobody compare their bones? So, anyway, okay, that was our tangent.